Okay, hello everyone. Have another half an hour to record this concluding video on the fourth leap. It's the week 41 of 2023, and I would like to start with the reflection on what was achieved. So maybe it's not very easy to remember, but 10 weeks ago I've set some goals, and right now I will try to maybe reflect on them and see what was achieved in terms of these goals. So I had two bets, one focus point and one habit. And essentially, my first bet was to create the Snake game, basically using C++. So I was first hoping to learn some C++. Then I was thinking of writing some sort of micro desktop application where you can just use your arrow keys and like play the basic Snake game. I was hoping that this will be a very motivational project, since I have maybe not so clear as I'm understanding right now, but at the end of the leap I definitely had a very clear understanding of what should be achieved, and like I was hoping to learn some C++ along the way and by using this project. So this was the idea, was to basically practice while learning. The problem here, of course, is that essentially I haven't did much, or the scope was too big, so I didn't know C++ back then, and neither I do it now. I don't know the graphics libraries. I don't know how to write all the algorithms for the Snake. So basically, this bet is a failure. I haven't achieved it, and that's what it is basically. The second bet I was like hoping to basically progress towards was the content pipeline, and the idea was to write some notes and then like come back to them, reflect on them, and then produce some sort of articles or maybe posts, and then like keep them or maybe post them somewhere. But once again, the idea in its initial form failed also. So the my first kind of understanding of what the content pipeline should be didn't play out. So, but instead, what I kind of noticed was that right now I'm writing all my thoughts inside Obsidian, and in that sense, I'm already generating the fleeting content and the notes I will then use in my production cycles. So maybe the content pipeline wasn't created, but at least right now I'm writing a lot more. So it's 50-50 of a bet. Maybe it definitely didn't play out as I anticipated, but at the end of the day, I'm happy with the result I have right now, so that I'm writing my thoughts, and the next step will be to process them. And once again, the situation is like I underestimated the scope of the bet, and I thought it would be very easy to do that, but at the end of the day, didn't play out well. The next thing was the focus point on lead code, and here I also have very poor results. I maybe solved a couple of tasks during these 10 weeks, but the system wasn't created, so right now I cannot like solve. I didn't upgraded my lead code skills that much, so maybe during my previous sleep when I was focusing on lead code heavily, I upgraded from knowing nothing about algorithms to maybe solving some simple tasks. I solved, I guess, 45 maybe problems back then, and yeah, it was a nice upgrade, a way up. But during this sleep, I didn't notice that the same like amount of progress, simply because I haven't focused on this focus point enough. So here we also have very poor results. Another thing was habit, and habit was that the habit was about me writing stuff, and it was somehow connected with the second bet of creating content pipeline. And here I have definitely successfully achieved what I wanted. So this habit was supposed to help me structurize my reflection at the end of the day, make it more systematic, make it like basically use the reflection method. So it was created to force me set in the end of the day and like think about what's happened, what were the good parts of the day, what was the bad parts of the day, and then assign like color code today. So that's what was my I feel like this day was a great one, or maybe a mid one, or it was an exceptional day, or it was a very bad day, or I didn't feel anything. So basically this sort of color coding helps me to see how my I forgot the word. So so how my feelings fluctuate. And in that sense, the habit was fully achieved. Right now I have lots of interesting information going on at the end of the day. I reflect daily, and it definitely played out well. Now I want to move to unexpected results, because here I have two basically unexpected results. The first one is the couple of deep dives inside the MBTI theory. Not that the theory itself was really complicated, but I wanted to understand like how my brain works, and basically what are the primary cognitive functions of my brain. So what is my flow state? What is like my leverages I can use or to like be more efficient? What are my blind spots? So all of this stuff. And the good news that that I figured this out. Right now I believe that I have an ENFP personality type. I don't think it's like very rigid or very strong, but it feels natural. It feels very like consistent for me and feels very aligned. And this MBTI framework also gave me a nice kind of instrument to analyze the psyches of others. I mean, it's not like math in a sense. It's really principle abstract and like works 100% of the time. But it gives a nice framework to reason about how other people approach things, what are their motivations, what are their blind spots, and overall, it's a nice framework to reason about the personality of a human being. Of course, it's not the last thing I will discover, but unexpectedly it appeared when I finally solved this puzzle of who am I. It felt very calm and like I made a great victory on that direction. And the next unexpected result is that it's not something I did for a long period of time, but I was definitely thinking about it. And during the sleep, I finally made my way to the habit of daily meditation. Right now, meditation is a kind of, I don't know how to say it. It's a very broad term in my sense. So I basically sit on my couch or maybe on my chair and maybe look at the fitness ball I have, or maybe look at the wall, or maybe look within me. So basically, there are very different variations to what I'm doing under this like meditation umbrella. But the fact that I right now incorporated 15 minutes of just sitting and thinking about something or maybe experiencing. So this meditation thing also feels very natural, very supportive and very efficiency boosting tool. Definitely didn't expect to get such results from meditation, but right now I feel pretty nice about it. Now I want to maybe briefly reflect on what happened during this week, maybe the reasons for failures or my general thoughts. And the thought number one is that I think that despite the fact I've already recorded 40 of these videos, I still haven't figured out how to plan like uninterrupted chunks of work in advance. I call it an reactive behavior. So when you don't act proactively, when you don't set plans, when you don't maybe see the future or trying to predict it, and you just act as the problems appear, I think it's not a very good way of living. I mean, you definitely have to, there are many plans, of course. So maybe some grand plans, your life strategy, where you want to end up finally, things like this. But and there is also a very micromanagement type of plans when you say like from 9 to 10 I will be like eating breakfast. So like from the 12 to 13 I will go to work or something like this. So you plan like very precisely, and you don't leave a room to for a risk, let's say so. And these types of plans are also a failure. But I think that they won't give you any productivity boost at all. The plans I'm aiming for and the proactive behavior I'm aiming for is the concentrating on one side of things during the leap. So I want to plan in advance at least, like on the tactical level, it should be one leap in advance. So I definitely at the beginning of the leap, I should say to myself, I will focus on this part, I will focus on this part, I will improve on that part, and or maybe just pick one. Maybe that's what I will try in this leap, of course. But I don't feel like this system works in the sense that I almost always remember it when I'm making decisions of what I should do, what I shouldn't, about the trade-offs. And this uncertainty, this like uncomprehensiveness of the behavior of the system provides or gives some interesting like consequences that, I record these videos every Friday, but at the end of the day, there are no like shifts in mentality of that you have to make trade-offs for achieving the goal of this leap. So something like this. I still act reactively, and that's what bothers me the most in like my current position. Another thoughts was on the scope of the system overall. And here I have two kind of ideas. The first one is that from one point of view, from one perspective, I want too much from the system. So essentially the system should be a supportive one to the domains of life that are kind of underdeveloped, where there are no external systems that drive them. So for instance, let's take the idea of 5 different domains, which are the like domain of life when you are managing finances, then you are the domain of life when you are engaging with other people, then the domain of life when you are acquiring information, knowledge, so basically learning, than the domain of life when you are basically going to maintenance mode and like repair your own health. So the health domain and the self-actualization domain. So you have to know what type of things you are interested in. So these macro perspective strategies. And from this system of leaps, I maybe think that it's a bit too much. Not just too much, but it maybe covers much more domains that it should cover. So I maybe have to rescope this, reshape it to cover only the domains when there are where there are like no external systems. So for example, let's take the domain of learning, acquiring new knowledge. And here we have, like, right now I'm enrolled in master's degree in business informatics, bioinformatics, I'm sorry. And there I have all these external things that motivates or that are supposed to motivate me to do the homework, prepare for my assignments or for the like tests. And this is basically the external system. So you enroll in the university for it to create the system for you, and you just left with the opportunity to engage there and basically do all these things. And when university is over, you still will need to learn somehow. And the leaps are the type of system that should help you focus on this part of life too. And on the other hand, leaps maybe seem a little bit too narrow. So I don't spread them to sphere of lives that are controlled by external system, and I still haven't figured out how to like do this. So for example, you should also strive towards the predictability for the next like 10 weeks, so 70 days. But that's like the thing I haven't figured out yet. And yeah, basically these are my reflections. And now I want to talk about where I'm going, what I'm going to do next. So in the fifth leap, I will try to implement the shape-up planning methodology. Is the methodology invented or written by Basecamp, which I accidentally stumbled upon maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago. And it catched my attention because the things there are very similar to what I'm trying to achieve, and the language and the terms that this methodology provided are very helpful, I guess. Or maybe I will try to prove that, but from the first glance, it seems like they should be useful. So what is the shape-up? Basically, shape-up is the methodology when you split your life in cycles. No, not the life, it's about product management or project management in IT, but I will try to implement it in my life. So why don't treat your life like a project and maybe bring in some predictability or like stability in your own life? And the shape-up methodology basically divides the whole parts, the phases of projects, on 3 different parts. The first one is shaping, when you have to abstractedly describe what you're trying to achieve, what are the trade-offs, what are the use cases for what you're trying to do, and what will be the final result. So in a very like loose, abstract terms. It still have to be something concrete. So for example, so it's basically like a high-level description of what you're trying to do and the reasons, the pros and cons, and so on. The second part of shape-up methodology is betting, when you have to basically compare between two like proposed shaped-up parts of work, and then you have to choose which one you will take in the next building phase, which is the next phase of this methodology, which is about basically executing the tasks you were given, not the task, but the bet you were given. The book described many really interesting cases, but I still don't know how I should implement it yet. I will try to do it during next week, and we'll kind of see. My general concerns here are that I'm still the only person which are involved in my own life project, which is a nice thing, but it gives me like the speed, the changeability, the ability to adapt quickly, but it takes away from me stability and the process of uninterrupted improvement, let's say like so. And why this methodology is something I'm considering to switch to. It's basically because of shaping part and the structure. Essentially, my current leap system is underdeveloped form of shape-up system. I think some of my problems come from the part when I don't know what exactly I'm trying to achieve. So I'm getting into the next leap. I'm saying like, these are my bets. For example, during this leap, the bets were the Snake CPP and the content pipeline. These two bets are too abstract. It's not really understandable what is the content pipeline, how it should look, how it should like what problem it tries to solve in your life, and like the shaping part was missing. The betting part is already there. It's when I place my 2 bets. I even use the same word, and I think I'll keep using the word bet for the project. For the project I will do in the next phase. And for example, focus point, also not very understandable what it is. So yeah, maybe when I was inventing it, it was really understandable, but I have really 4 different types of bets here. So my bets, which are called bets, my focus point, which are for whatever reasons doesn't call bet, and my habit part, which is also a process that I'm trying to achieve. It's the habit is the change, is about changing your mentality. It's basically not about the things that you're trying to deliver. So yeah, also maybe it shouldn't be here named as habit, because like it's basically don't say me anything. And of course, there are some problems with my execution, of tasks. Even when I understand what I'm trying to achieve in a broad abstract terms, like with Snake, I still lack the instruments to achieve it. So maybe there aren't enough structure to doing so. Maybe I'm too lazy, which is of course like 90% of the problem, and I don't have vocabulary to report about the status of my problem. So maybe you've noticed this type of blocks or reflection sessions ended up like I'm sitting here in front of my microphone, and I'm also coming up with that I have to say something about I didn't done during the week, which is also a bad thing. Now I guess ShapeUp should bring up the needed structure to achieving the results of the leaps, and it already given me the language and the understanding of what these leaps should strive towards. So like this. Basically that's it. Nothing to add here, I guess. The next week I will dedicate to basically crawling my vault and getting potentially interesting bets from there. So the next week I will try to present you, or maybe come up with pitches for the bets I will bet on during the 5th league. Now that's all I wanted to discuss for today. Maybe it's a bit too long, already 23 minutes of me mumbling something in my microphone. I will definitely speed up this thing because I think it will be impossible to listen to, but that's it. It is what it is. Yeah. Now, thanks for listening, and boo-boo.